Good afternoon, everyone, and I'm Dr. Sasikumar. Sir, is a dermatologist and plastic and basic physician. The point is why I'm here is to talk about basic skin and hair issues of Down syndrome children. Where we get to interact with these kind of cases when we treat more congenital anomalies, we do get references from different specialists to treat skin issues and hair issues. And with this, I'm here to give you some basics about the skin issues what Down syndrome children will have and how to manage it, basically. And you don't need to really worry about these issues. Most of it are very simple issues which can be easily managed. But when people come to us, they're so worked up, they're so, sometimes they're even depressed, worried what it can lead to. So, first of all, the skin issues have been there since 1846, and approximately 61% of the Down syndrome children will have some kind of skin issues as they age. Most common thing is xerosis, like nothing but dry skin. Next is atopic dermatitis. These go hand in hand. When you have dry skin, you have atopic dermatitis. Dermatitis is nothing but inflammation of the skin margins. Then they have palmoplantar, we call it as hyperkeratosis. That is nothing but thickening of the palm and the sole skin. So if you think, no, the terminology changes, but physiology is simple dryness. Next is seborrheic dermatitis, which happens in the scalp. With the same atopic dermatitis which happens in the rest of the body, if it happens in the scalp, it's called seborrheic dermatitis. Keratosis pilaris is small nodular things which happens in the extremities. They have small spots which is arising. I'll explain each one in detail. These are the most common things which Down syndrome children develop, and it's very easily manageable. Vitiligo, tough to manage, but it's very rare in occurrence also, so we don't need to worry. And last one is the hair issue. That is nothing but alopecia areata, where there's a patchy hair loss happening in the scalp. And sometimes it can be patchy or sometimes it can be universal. That means the whole scalp can be involved. So now, why it happens? Basically, it's genetic dysregulation because of gene anomalies and immune issues happening in the Down syndrome children. The skin issues and hair issues occur much earlier. And second is inefficient physiological process. That is what we can address, because we can't address the genetic issue. So physiological process, excesses, generally the body has to produce sebum and sweat. That will help in hydrating the skin, which doesn't happen in Down syndrome children. So as I said already, xerosis is lack of skin barrier function because of the dryness. It leads to overall reduction in the lipid layer in the skin. So this leads on to pathogens and whatever bacteria entering into the skin, leading on to dry and rough skin if left untreated. Basically, it happens in the shin region, in the leg and the elbows. If it is left untreated, it leads on to fissure, that is break in the lining epithelium. Once there is a break, something like an agricultural land, if the barren land will have breaks, similarly the skin will also have some breaks through which pathogens like bacteria can enter in and lead on to infection. So, if left untreated, as I mentioned, it can lead on to eczema. Eczema is nothing but red patches with discharge, fluid discharge from the skin. See, it's not going to be a life-threatening issue, but it can go greater extent, it can affect the confidence of an individual, the child. Then bacterial skin infection is what I was mentioning earlier. The aim of the treatment is to reduce the itching sensation of the skin. How do you do it? You improve the barrier function. What is barrier function? Generally, the epidermis through which the water loss will happen constantly if it is not replaced, either by hydration, in-out, or moisturizing out-in. That is what we say. If you don't improve the barrier function, then you are exposing the skin to the external pathogens. So the mainstay of treatment is moisturizer. It has to be applied on a damp skin. Whenever you give bath to your child, immediately you need to apply the moisturizer before the water even dries up. How much to apply is adequate enough to be applied. And topical steroids we give only in case of resistant cases or cases where we can't manage it effectively, we apply topical steroids, but there's a loss for that. Intraoral moisturizers we give for adults, but in Down syndrome children, I have not tried it so far. We have to see. So, before you treat, how to prevent? Reduce the frequency of bath you give to the children. Because what you do is you keep on bathing the child more often, it goes to excessive dryness. And use a lukewarm water rather than using too cold or too hard water. And use synthetic detergent cleansers. So I'm not going to quote any brand, but Dove was the first company which came up with synthetic detergent bars. So we don't have any interest in that company, just tell you. That's what I want to mention. The point is, they don't dry the skin much faster, and it is very less alkaline, so it doesn't damage the skin barrier function also. So this is xerosis, the dryness. So I'm putting very few slides to represent because first time Rekha Madam asked me to give a talk. I don't know really what kind of audience and what I'm going to talk. She said you give basic thing. Atopic dermatitis is chronic itchy skin. Whenever a patient has dryness, they go in for atopic dermatitis. Again, because of the defective barrier function. The skin is susceptible to irritation by the soap. This is where you need to be very careful when you choose a soap. That too, the children's skin is going to be very tender. In addition, if you are going to damage with the soaps, then it will lead on to excessive damage. It can also be due to weather changes and temperature changes. Nowadays, we always live in an air-conditioned room. So we're almost like we're in a winter climate always. So better to moisturize irrespective of whether you go out or not. And presentation, dermatitis will present as an inflamed red lesion. Generally, how to identify? That's what I want to say. Whenever you see your children have some skin issues, how to identify what it is. So if there is a red patchy lesion with watery discharge, that we call as atopic dermatitis. If it has superadded infection, it will have a redness which is spreading out of proportion to the affected area. So the treatments basically you need to reduce the exposure to triggers. Basically, you need to make sure you have the right soap. The child doesn't get exposed to two extremes of the temperatures, and moisturize adequately. The steroids and antibacterial creams will be prescribed by us as and when required. Immune modulators. We do try certain immune modulators on the skin to reduce the body's response to the pathogens what enter into this. Antibiotics we don't give for children unless it's very severe infection as such. Antihistamines can be tried to reduce the itch so that they don't chronically itch and break the barrier function of the skin. And steroids, immunosuppressants and biologics are all studied now, and it has to be studied in Down syndrome children before we really put them on it. The palmoplantar hyperkeratosis, nothing but thickening of the palmar skin and the plantar skin. It is due to the abnormal skin protein. It is purely genetic. It doesn't have anything to do with children's way of handling things or nothing else. So how to prevent is again moisturizer, and we add a cream called keratolytic creams where we have salicylic acid as an active ingredient that helps in removing the thickened skin alone. Then you need to moisturize it. So it doesn't end with just removing the thickened skin. Sometimes you can try mild scrubs with pure stones so that it will help in removing the thickened skin. But adequately you need to moisturize post-procedure. This is what I was mentioning, keratosis pilaris. It's nothing but small dotted lesions which happens in the arm, outer aspect of the arm most commonly. Why it happens? Before that, it happens in the upper arm, thigh, cheek and trunks, usually in adolescents with Down syndrome, not in younger children. It is because of abnormal keratinization. Basically, the keratin is the outer layer of the skin cells. With excessive keratin production, it comes and plugs the hair follicles. So that's why you develop small white poly lesions on the outer arm, and sometimes it can be brownish color also. Color doesn't really matter. There won't be any itching, there won't be any pain. It is very dormant. It is not going to disturb anything. But if you want to treat, better to cleanse regularly and also to exfoliate. Exfoliate is, again I said, salicylic acid based creams that help in removing the keratin layers in the skin, the excessive keratin layer, basically to reduce the pilaris lesions. And you need to moisturize adequately. Vitiligo is very rare, 3% as I already mentioned, where there is a loss of skin pigmentation genetically. The melanin cells are melanocytes doesn't produce melanin, so you don't get the color. You end up in a white patch. It is marginally higher than the normal population. First line of treatment is topical steroids, then we have immune modulator creams. If it is not helping, then we can try surgical solutions, or if child is not fit for surgery, we can do a camouflage creams. A lot of creams are available to camouflage vitiligo patches. And alopecia areata. This we see more commonly because we do treat hair follicles and hair transplantations we do, but people come with the hope that we can give a transplant as a solution. Why you develop patchy hair loss is because of the increased immunity, localized immunity cells which kill the hair follicles off completely. But there is a possibility of regrowth if we treat little earlier with an immune suppressant, basically topical steroids, or sometimes we give intralesional steroid injection. Into the patch, we inject the steroid injection. It is very sudden onset, but sometimes it will be single lesion or sometimes it can be multiple lesions in the scalp. If treated early, we can reverse it. If we leave it, then it can have a irreversible, it becomes irreversible. Very rarely we see people with Down syndrome going in for alopecia totalis, or sorry, universalis. Universalis is the whole body that is hair loss. Totalis we have seen where the full scalp will be involved. Total scalp hair will be gone. In universalis, the whole body hair will also be gone, including the eyebrows and those things. But that all depends on the genetic predisposition because there's nothing medically we can do that. So how you treat is topical creams, as I said already, and interlesional steroids, that's the injections which we give into the patches. Systemic corticosteroids can be given, and sometimes people give now interleukin JAK inhibitors, which is interleukin 15 signaling is blocked, but the results are not yet disclosed and we need to wait for the results to come. Basically, what I tell my patients is, if it is not irreversible, we need a proper counseling and camouflage to be given. So camouflages can be as effective because sometimes medical management can fail. It is not becoming very 100% that it will regrow. But camouflage can help in improving the confidence of the individual. So I kept it as short as possible. Point is that very extensive. We have cheilitis, lip lesions, but end of the day, what is a single important thing in a Down syndrome is excessive dryness. So that is what is leading on to xerosis or cheilitis, whatever lesions like hyperpalmar keratosis, palmar keratosis, everything is happening because of dryness. So basically the take home message is,